Oui.
Voila.
Sing song
For all them beautiful girls out here. One cultural activist
oh, me sweet
collab.
baby, now for you are the queen. So me mind they play for you, you know. They play like top. Sweet baby,
Yeah, yeah. Me and you say abadan. Keep her only with you, like now I'm a dan. Now you can keep me warm, doing Amatan. Price state of Dallas, and I'm in the back one. Damn, your body soft like a pillowcase. Me after you home, you know go. Yeah, like how you the dang get pose. But commando yan you, but you ain't like clothes.
oh me sweet baby, now for you are the queen. So me mind they play for you, you know. They play like ta da da, ta da da. Da 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 da. Love you. Oh, me sweet baby, now for you are the queen. Mind they play for you, you know. They play like ta da da.
Classic.
Ta da da.
Me love for you guarantee. Me not cool dude, but for you I go make property. One take you in a church and make you me property.
Now for you are the queen. Me mind they play for you, you know. Mind you, they play like ta da da, ta da 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 da, ta da da, ta da da da, ta da da, baby baby baby, ta da da, baby da. Oh me sweet baby, now for you are the queen. So me mind they play for you, you know. They play like ta da da, ta da da, baby baby baby, ta da da. Break it down, break it down. Break it down, break it down. You know, love it, you know.
VFX footage. 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 footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage. VFX footage.
Good afternoon, and a pleasure to welcome again to another edition of The Views, our new and current affairs programs that comes up on Freetown Television Network, live on Channel 35 and also on Radio Freetown 90.4 on frequency modulation. And you can also get us on our Lime apps or Google Play, where you can watch us in any part of the world, as we are yet to bring another edition of your informative, educative and entertaining program, The Views, that comes up live on radio Freetown Television Network on Channel 35 with me, Mohamed Bar. Well, in today's edition, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio government has clocked 1 year in office since being elected by the people of Sierra Leone. To help us look at the scorecard of President Julius Maada Bio currently in the studio, I have Daniel S. Pewa. He's coming from the Native Consortium and Research Center, one of the leading civil society organizations that advocate for the voice of the voiceless. Pewa, it's a warm welcome. Good afternoon to FTN and The Views.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Good afternoon, viewer.
Okay. He's my guest, Daniel S. Pewa from Native Consortium. Well, in that vein, we move straight into the discussion. Pewa, it has been 1 year now for His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio in office. From your own point of view as a civil society organization, what do you think about the 1 year of His Excellency?
Thank you once more. Well, to start with, it's very important for us to look at the trend of things or happenings since 4th April last year until date. Well, if we are to grade the government led by the dynamic president HBO, I want to believe that from education, governance, accountability, human rights, a lot has been done. Okay. And without fear or favor, I must say kudos to his regime, and at the same time kudos to the people of Sierra Leone for holding on to the fort. There are challenges. Mind you, 1 year is just 12 months. And he has made his own mark within the period under review. But one thing that is sacrosanct is the fact that since he has been into governance, I think tremendously he has made a mark, like I said earlier. Oh. And those marks, we need to analyze them critically for viewers and listeners to understand properly.
That's why we bring you here to analyze this mark critically for us. What are some of the marks that you have made mention? Can you highlight some of them for us?
Before coming to governance, he campaigned on a flagship program that is the free education. And well, I wouldn't say me and you or you and I, but few Sierra Leoneans we are thinking that it is quite impossible for His Excellency to introduce free education, free and quality education. Reason being, for them, they prefer so many challenges that even in the Western world, whom we are, copying, that it is quite impossible for you to sense
any semblance of free and quality education in any of those Western world. Now, coming to the question of, is it possible? Yes, he has made it possible. Since the launch of the free quality education, we have seen the turnout of students or pupils from class 1 onto the stage wherein they will sit to the NPSE, from JSS1 on to a point wherein they will sit to the WAS exam. When we took up the initiative of being parts of the distribution of the free quality textbooks that the government provided a few months back, we were in the northern parts, and some of our colleagues were in the southern parts, southeastern parts. Of course, we cut.
So your organization monitored the distribution exercise?
Yes, we were part and parcel of. Yes, we were part and parcel of the monitoring. The number of students, pupils we met in those schools was remarkable, and we came to the conclusion or the realization that indeed our dreams and aspirations are coming to a reality of fruition. A lot of guardians and parents we met or crossed a path with were saying, quote and unquote, hey, me pikin de una thank you, hey, me fambu de una thank you, hey, fambu de una thank you. Because mind you, like my mother back in the village will go to the market, sell. It is out of the proceeds of that business that she will now feed the family, and at the same time take part of that proceed, plow it back to the education, whatnot of my sisters, my younger sisters and brothers as well. Okay. But now that that has been cut off from, that burden has been cut off or taken away from her, so what she was parting with to pay tuition fee for the kids in primary school and the secondary school as well can now be factored into other areas for the family to live a better life. Okay. So that is a kudos. Then also don't forget that those core textbooks were very, very expensive. Now if you take a critical look, survey in the markets, the booksellers will tell you that the science books, the mathematics, the English language and other core subjects that textbooks were provided for will tell you that those books were very costly. But now that the government has cushioned the payments or the procurement of those books for the students, meaning another burden has been moved from the payment for the guardians to government. Okay, understand?
And this reminds me to ask the question, the distribution of these books and the numbers of people you have made mention of where you monitor the exercise, are they commensurate? Because there are cases wherein this book that was given to students will be asked for at the end of the school year.
It is in twofold. The first question, let me answer the first question. Okay. Where the books commensurate to the number of pupils in the school, I think is the first question. Yes. Not so? I would say no. Maybe you want to ask me why. Maybe I'm not the devil's advocate. I'm not talking for government, neither am I talking for the school authorities. Okay. But one thing as a human being, what comes to mind is the fact that if you are to buy me, if I am to buy myself a bottle of water, yeah, I will be skeptical as to how much of this or how many of this bottle of water will satisfy me for the day. All right. Now, if I happen to buy 2, meaning that is what I can afford, even if it cannot satisfy or quench my thirst for the whole 24 hours, but that is what I can afford, meaning I will be able to tailor myself as to how I will be drinking this water, all right, for it to last me for the next 24 hours. Now, if you are to provide me, if you are to ask me now, Daniel, I will buy you mineral water, how much will be sufficient for you? I would say 4. Do you know why? Because it is not coming from my pockets. That is just the normal, human being. Okay. If you are providing for me, I will exploit. I call it exploitation. I will exploit you. But if I am buying for myself, I'll be very prudent with my pocket or with my spending. Now, coming to the question, to answer your question head on, when we went to those schools, the books, sorry, the documents, when I say the books, I'm not, referring at this, in this context, I'm not referring to the textbooks. I'm referring to the document from the school authorities. The books will tell you that initially there were 30 students, pupils in this particular class, or let's say 1,000 pupils in this particular school, yeah, in this particular class. Now, based on that, like I said inter earlier, I'm not talking for government, neither am I talking for the school authorities.
Okay.
Now, maybe those information were sent to the government authorities, the Ministry of Education, to be specific, that now Kankele Secondary School or Kankele Primary School in Kono has 50 students in class 6. All right? And now the ministry has provided the 50 books for the 50 students in class 6, core books, core textbooks.
Okay.
Now, upon going with those 50 textbooks in those schools, we came to the realization that what is being supplied and the information being sent does not match, or is not commensurate to the number. Yeah. Now, what that tells you? That tells you that the number of students has been inflated based on the fact that it is free of charge. Like I said again, I'm not talking on behalf of government, neither am I talking against the school authorities, but that is one of our findings.
Okay.
All right. Now, that tells you also that somehow, somewhere, exploitation is taking place. I will not call it corruption, but exploitation is taking place somewhere. What am I saying? Meaning, people are taking advantage of the situation to exploit governments, because you cannot tell me there are 50 students here, and when I come with the 50 books, I happen to meet 40 students or 35. If they can do it for textbooks, which physical counting will have to take place, how much more now if it is figure? If you are to say, Mr. Ba, okay, I am sending a voucher for 50 students to Ministry of Education, yeah, when in the actual fact you are having 40 students, is it not cheating somewhere?
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay.
What was the next question?
Okay. I think you have already touched on that.
Thank you so much. All right.
But Daniel, as a civil society organization, you monitor the process and you have your finding. What kind of recommendation have you made so that government might intervene to address some of these kind of issues that you have already highlighted?
Our CEO, Mr. Edmond Abu, and his generals, we are just the little boys, yeah. They are very proactive. It's like they were, well, I would not say insinuation, but they were preempting this type of attitude from some school. I'm not saying blanket, but some school authorities. They preempted that this might come up. You know, they have a Sierra Leonean. There's a notion that quote and unquote inside and the title. Well, let us don't go into that. But based on our findings, and when we came back and made the report to the CEO, Edmond Abu, and the executive members of NCRC, Native Consortium and Research Center, few recommendations came up, because
just highlight
when you have challenges, when you see challenges, you must be able to provide solutions or recommendations to mitigate against those anomalies.
Okay.
Firstly, the costs of delivery of those textbooks to the various locations right across the country was very huge on governments. If you hire a private vehicle or a private farm to provide transport service in that direction right across the country, is it 16 districts now? Yes, 16 districts. And you think of, because cost of fuel is on you, wearing and tearing of the vehicle is on you, transportation, payment of the vehicle is on you, and the personnel going with those books, they are feeding their lodging is on government as well. Because if you are charged $300 for vehicle per week or for a few days, everything that surrounds that vehicle is being incurred by you, and therefore we see it to be very huge on government. So one recommendation that came out vividly was that we have the police trucks, we have the military vehicles, we have the prisons vehicles, or let's say the forces, the security forces. We have other government vehicles like the ambulances. Yeah. Why can't the government utilize those facilities? Because as at now, we are not, thanks to God, we are not at war, and those vehicles are packed in their various yes. Okay. And those vehicles, the maintenance and whatever cost is being incurred to keep those vehicles fit and running is paid by you as a taxpayer. Okay. So instead of incurring extra expenditure to transport those books, why can't you make use of the facility or the infrastructure that is there already, vis-a-vis the trucks, owned by the various institutions to transport those vehicles? Okay. All you do, you buy fuel, you fuel them, because it is being taken outside their operational areas, and they are given budgets, annual budget. Okay. So if you are taking them outside their operational areas, you just buy fuel, and then you give the drivers and the security guys small DSA for them to be kept safe and sound in the field. Okay. But we also noticed that the storage itself is another challenge. The storage itself in those school facilities is not conducive. Okay,
I'll be coming back to you whilst we are still looking at the free and quality education. He is Daniel S. Pera, coming from the Native Consortium and Research Center, a civil society organization that take the lead in advocacy for the voice of the voiceless. In case you are just joining us, you are watching the views live on Freetown Television Network on channel 35 and also on Radio Freetown 90.4 FM. And our topic of discussion here this afternoon, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio administration clocked 1 year in office today. What is your assessment? That the question we sent out there this afternoon. Just continue to be part of it. In the studio, I have Daniel Pewa from the Native Consortium. Daniel, even though we have already started going to some of the challenges and recommendations, let's look whether the coming of the free and quality education enhance the reviving of education in Sierra Leone, because there is a normal saying Sierra Leone is the anthem of West Africa, but it has lost its glory in terms of education. With the coming of the free and quality education, has this enhanced the reviving of education in Sierra Leone?
A very brain teasing question. Reason being, I quite agree with you. Sierra Leone was termed as the Athens of West Africa, if not Africa, and at the same time, the infrastructure that our colonial masters left are in a very, deplorable or dilapidating, states. If you go to our universities, colleges, or other tertiary institutions, secondary schools, those schools that the colonial masters actually left with us are very, very, very in a deplorable state. But I think a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Definitely.
With the vision of the president, I'm saying again, with the vision of His Excellency, if and only if supported by his generals that surrounds him, that's vis-a-vis the ministers and the heads of various MDAs, if they are working genuinely with the president, I think we will be there. Why am I saying this? The reason is he has started introducing the free quality education. Though the infrastructure is not enough, to accommodate the student for one shift.
Okay, I think let me hold you there for a while. We'll be coming back. I think you have made something very sensitive. The infrastructure there, even though it's not enough to accommodate the numbers of students that the free and quality education have attract. We are going for a short break. We'll be coming back whilst we continue with the discussion. Stay tuned. Maui.
Today waka just begin for me to better tomorrow. For as long as we dey keep for work on we self, we go most bring out we best. We own best in how we can come near the people and things them we matter to we. We dey look for experience where they connect we any side and they give we sense altered.
Orange, the most reliable network na salon today. Don't put plenty money per network coverage, data service, and plenty other thing there. We don't come near you now. So you and you family them go enjoy the best telecom service at the highest standard. And beside you then a salon.
Orange.
You know they? No. When you tell me I go join this local SIM couple, for me I download this thing and I want to be able to get access to my account. And I want to know so now we can.
Okay, so now this one is really simple. You don't go to the bank?
No.
Okay. Now go to the bank, let them update your account. Make sure say your telephone number they all know, because now the telephone number will make you get access to your local SIM couple.
Okay.
Where you they go? Make sure say you carry your bank ID card and also the mobile phone where you they use, because now there we go download the app for you. Okay, so now you will not get account with me. What you need to wait for? Go to any of we branch and open account so you self go enjoy the local SIM couple.
Local Commercial Bank will make life better for we all.
VFX footage. VFX footage.